Hello everybody, welcome to the sound test stream. Today I'm going to show you how to get your one-shot samples, audio files, stuff like that, to be played by Euclidean Sequencer any way you wish. Now there's several ways we can do this, so I'm going to take you through various things. So at the moment, all you're hearing is my microphone, which is in channel 1, that's fine. So basically you'll be starting with a blank project. You want to be opening a Midi. We're going to move this there like this so the Midi stays here. And we will open Audio Unit MIDI Processor and Euclidean Sequencer. And at the moment, that's all we need to do. We don't need to worry about anything else. However, one of the important things you should do straight away is, because Euclidean defaults to this kind of view, where if you look down here, it says port 1, port 1, port 1, port 1. The first thing I'm going to do is set this second one to port 2, then to port 3, and then this one to port 4. Not worrying about the MIDI channels yet. We don't need to worry about that. That's up to you. If you want to send this off to different MIDI channels, that's fine. But we're going to use the port system to start with. And we're just going to close that now. First off, we're going to do this. I'm going to show you different ways you can do this. Okay, so for your one-shot samples, because Euclidean is a MIDI sequencer, but we want to be playing samples and one-shots and stuff. So I'm going to open Audio Unit Extension. I'm going to start off with Synthmaster 2. I'm going to open Synthmaster 2 like this. And the first thing I'm going to do is connect my Arturia key step, go back to Synthmaster, just go up here and hit Initial Preset. And now I've got this sawtooth wave, and that's all I've got. Where it says sawtooth here, excuse me, where it says sawtooth here, tap on that, go to Import Wave Files, okay? And this is, we're going to use Electronic Sounds Reflective Pack, but you can use any sample you like of any length. What we're going to do is open the effects. I'm going to use impact number 4. Doesn't really matter which one it is, but that's what I'm going to use, impact number 4. I'm going to stick it in my TSTR folder and just go import, and that's done. And now my MIDI keyboard, there is impact number 4. Now you can, of course, open the little keyboard and you can select the key. So the key is quite important here. Remember what key you want the sound to be. Okay, C3 or C4. We'll use C4. Okay, so we can close Synthmaster. We can save this issue if you want now as a new preset, etc. You can add some effects, like let's add a bit of reverb, shall we, just for fun. Long and hold and reverb and nice long sample there, probably longer than we need, but let's close this now. Open Euclidean. Oh, excuse me. Make sure now that we go to Euclidean here in the MIDI sources and select the channel you want. Well, we'll keep it simple. We'll start with number 1. Go back to Euclidean, switch on number 1, and you'll see that it's got 4 points already added, so 4 events, and it's spread over 16 steps. We can increase the steps here, you can see, all the way up to 64, but we'll leave it on 16, and you can increase the events. But for this, let's put the event on 1, okay? And we don't need to worry about anything else now. So we know they're going to use C4 if we wanted to use C3 or any of the other keys. You set it here. And this is, we're not using, excuse me, I'm just going to get back to my C4, sorry. We're not using the actual sequencer here. The sequencer section is empty. We're just using the note. Okay, so that's important. This is if we just wanted to fire our samples off or just fire one note. This is what we're doing. So we've got this C4, which is the note we want. And when we make sure host sync is on, okay, so it'll start with AUM. Now we have that sample. And you see we have a gating here. Let's open the gate all the way. Awesome. Now we could add 2 events. Let's just leave that on 1 event. We can choose to have it play slower. So if you've got a really long sample, or twice as fast. But let's just leave it on its normal speed. Okay, let's stop there. So that's how you would do it with Synthmaster. That's how you import your own samples. And like I said, we could go in, just go, okay, save preset as, choose the bank here, tap bank. I'm going to tap TSTR. I'm just going to go, I'm going to call that just, I'm just going to call it Impact 4 because that's what it was. So Impact 4, enter. We can get rid of that now and just go save. And our preset is now saved as Impact 4. So if we go to our browser now at any time, we can just close that. Go and find our folder. In this case, there is Impact 4. And I made one earlier called Impact 3. Right, so both from Dean's Electronic Sounds Pack. Okay, so there's how you would do with Synthmaster 2. Let's now do with... let's now do it with SampleWiz. Okay, so same principle. We'll open SampleWiz, and here is our default. Oops, that's the impact. We make sure to unhook now the key step, and let's go to SampleWiz key step. But let's also, for now, set this to port number 2. And there's our sound. Let's open up. We're on sample page already. So we have general sample. So just go load sample. And then we can choose, let's choose one of, so these are from MobileMusicPro Essentials Effects Toolkit, which I'll be demoing very, very soon. So there's over 200 effects in, how many ambiences. They're completely free. And you'll see that some of these are quite large files as well. So let's choose, say, this one, which is, I don't know, 8 meg. But we could load any size file into SampleWiz. Cool. Let's do this, 8 meg. Tap on this. And when it loads, that's our sound. Okay, and that's a C4 or a C5. Doesn't really matter. But it'll play over the entire keyboard. So we've got C. So without adding any other effect, in fact, but let's just move it in so it starts. That's better. And let's, just in case it loops, let's take this back to a kind of a looping position here. And let's make it smooth when it comes round. So it'll probably jump initially. It's not too bad. Let's put some crossfade in there. It should be okay, actually. Cool, that sounds great. So we won't bother doing any more work to that. We won't save it, and I think we can save it later, but it's fine. Or we could just crop it as it is now. Yes, let's crop it, and that sample as it is. But this is a SampleWiz tutorial, right? But it's not, it's Euclidean. So let's close that now. And we know that we've sent that to port 2 of Euclidean. So let's open Euclidean now. And let's see what it sounds like. So port 2 on C4. Let's switch off band A, switch on band B. And let's just play. Let's increase our gate. By the way, I will say that the gate is coming in the next update, which will probably be this week sometime. So if you haven't got it, don't worry. It's coming soon. Okay, so let's leave that on 4 events, but we could. Let's hit it. to F4. Maybe adjust the rotation. Switch back on band A. Okay, cool beans. Let's do another. So I'm going to add another one now. Bear with me just a sec. Okay, I'm back. We're going to add another now. So tap this audio unit. Let's use Hammerhead, okay, because we can import our own samples into Hammerhead too. And maybe without taking too much time, let's just have a look at the keyboard here. I'm going to, it is, right, okay, so let's choose to move our keyboard down an octave. Now I could, so the kick, C2, this kick, without changing the sound, we'll just leave it on that kick. So we know that kick is on C2. Cool. We're going to do this. We're going to open this. Make sure we're going to Euclidean. Make sure we're going to number 3. Now I could hook this up to, that's built in keyboard. I could have hooked it up to the key step and then taking this one off the key step. So now we're just playing Hammerhead. And that's it, what we want, isn't it? Which we said was C2. Going back to Euclidean, of course, we open this up now and we can set number 3 here to C2. A2, down, no, one more. There we go. So C2. Gate is not going to be really too bothered about this because it's a kick drum. So let's switch this off. Let's switch C on, and we've got, we're basically going to have, if we set this, it's on 16 steps. If we set this to 8 steps, we're going to have a 4 on the floor. Okay. If we set it back to its initial 4 steps and set this to 8, we'll get the same effect as a 4 on the floor. But the cool thing with Euclidean is you can go Euclidean, obviously. So let's go maybe 15 steps, 6 events, and let's rotate this slightly off its axis and add it in with the other 2. Okay. So last but not least, let's wrap this up. We'll slide along. We'll add one more. Now, this is a really good one to use, actually. If you're after drums, audio unit extension, FAC Drumkit, let's have a look. So first of all, we're going to send it to Euclidean and we're going to send it to port number 4. Okay. So remember, if you're using Midi, you just select the Midi channel you want. Make sure that you, of course, you know, filter the channel filter, otherwise you'll get them playing all. But that's why the port system's really nice in Euclidean. So okie dokie, let's see, let's open up this and make it a little bit bigger, shall we? Now I am going to make sure that Hammerhead has not been played by my key step. I know nothing else is, so let's hook up. There we go. And there we go. So we find out where on the keyboard the FAC, let's just switch the keyboard on as well. So you can find out by just auditioning the notes what you want. Now, if you don't want that sample in there, right, or you want the same, you don't want to be messing around. You want to go, right, I want to remember C2 or C3. So there's C3. We can swap this kick drum with this kick drum. And now we have that on C3. Or we can go here to the internal sample browser, choose anything we like. We'll stick with kick drums. We can go maybe this one. Oh, I'll use this one, TR kit bass drum number 1. I'll pick this up. and I'll just drop it on. Oh, no, actually, all I need to do is select it. And so I'll just do that again. Kick drum, and we'll choose kick drum number 3 for me. Just select it, and so if you wanted to use that, you could, or you can tap on this, choose a sample from here. I don't want to do that. Or long hold, load a file, right? I don't want to do that neither because I can't hear it. But the easiest way, and one of the coolest ways to do this, is to open Sample Crate, which is, if we flick up down the bottom here, Sample Crate there, right, which I've already opened, by the way, so we can close that. We can open Sample Crate. So I'll just do it with my fingers. Opal Sample Crate. But we can audition samples with Sample Crate. So tapping on them will give us an audition of the sound. So now what we can do is we can pick it up and drag it on. And this is important. If you want this sample to sound exactly the same as it does, hit Create Sampler. Right? Let's get rid of the Sample Crate out of the way now. If we can. There we go. And now, there's that sample we've just dropped in, as it should be, with no other of the synth engine added or anything like that. And now we can go to, it's a snare, so let's tap on that, and let's go label. And let's label it as a snare drum, because it sounds snare-ish. And now we know, so C3, let's go back to Euclidean, and let's set this to C3 on number 4. Let's turn these off so you hear it. And this time, let's set events to 2, and let's rotate this so it's like that. So it's on off. Oops. So it's a rotation of 4. So they're on offsets. So now you'll get kind of a standard kind of rhythm going on, especially if we select our kick drum to be normal. But since we've got Euclidean stuff going on, but here we go. We can open the gate just in case there is anything. And what we can do now is, well, if we wanted to, we could go to FAC Drumkit, of course. Let's look at the sample amplitude. Well, it's fully working, but we can maybe lower it down, or introduce the synth. And let's randomize that. And I'm going to go with the oscillator 1 amp. Give it a bit of, bit of mod, bit of amp. And then give it a bit of pitch modulation, should be fun. Ooh, nice. So that's now been played by Euclidean. And if we bring our others in, so there you go, guys. There's how you do it. There's how you can get Euclidean to play your own samples with various different apps. So Synthmaster 2 is super cool because you can import as samples so long as you like. SampleWiz, same thing. We saw how we could, and don't forget, we can also import our own samples into Hammerhead, and of course, FAC Drumkit, which you could build the whole thing. If you had 4 FAC Drumkits open, or you could send different notes to different places, because FAC Drumkit is a drum synth, not a drum sequencer per se. So you could have loads of FACs open. In fact, you could have 16 of those open. And if you had 16 of those open, you could have 4 Euclideans all playing different ones, if you know what I mean. So, you're really only limited by your imagination, of course. But that's how you do it. Anyway, that's how you do it. That's how you get it to fire off kind of just one shots and set your events and steps, etc. Without even having to worry about the sequencer. We're just in one note mode here. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Please consider becoming a Patreon. Help what me and Joe do here at the Sound Test Room every day. It's very much appreciated. And bless you all. Thank you very much for watching. And I will see you all later. Ta-ra.